Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is known to be controversial. Here are 5 things about her. What does it take to eat like an Olympian? 3 Tokyo Olympics-bound athletes weigh. Indiana Taurasi is not quite ready to pass her Olympic torch video shows fireworks blast in South LA neighborhood recession. What you need to know. Coronavirus explained. Why tracking the deadly disease is a huge challenge. An ambulance crew, firefighter, and others were shot in a series of attacks in Arizona. Michigan loosens virus workplace safety rules. Rare glass octopus with clear body seen swimming near Phoenix Islands in the Pacific Ocean. Tamarack fire burning near Lake Tahoe forces hundreds to flee. Can't go to Tokyo for the Olympics? Here's how to experience Japanese culture in the U.S. Beckworth Complex fire. Caliph largest of 2021. Charlestown near Nevada border. Jenner running for change in California. Recall bid. 4 tips to make the most of your Maui vacation as increased travelers head to Hawaii. Bucks should have straightforward approach against Suns in NBA Finals. The Tokyo Olympics and COVID-19. Why these games will be unlike any other. Tokyo. With the opening ceremony less than a day away, the Tokyo Olympics are about to begin in full force. Several events are already in the midst of competition, and Team USA's softball team has already proven itself with a 2-0 start to the first Olympic softball tournament since 2008. Meanwhile, the U.S. women's soccer team suffered a shocking 3-0 defeat against Sweden in its opening match and will look to rebound against New Zealand on Saturday. As thousands of athletes gear up to begin the Games, COVID-19 remains an ever-present concern. At least 91 people associated with the Olympics have tested positive, including 10 athletes. Several other athletes, including American tennis phenom Coco Gauff, will not be allowed to compete after receiving a positive test before departing for Japan. Follow along with our reporters on the ground in Tokyo throughout the Games for competition news, COVID-19 updates and more. The investigation will examine whether all precautions against the spread of COVID-19 before, during and after the charter flight have been complied with, according to a news release. The Czech news agency reported that not all passengers on the flight wore masks for the duration of the trip, and several Czech outlets report that Vlastimil Voracek, an orthopedist with the delegation who is unvaccinated, was the first person who tested positive upon arrival. In soccer, Brazilian star Marta became the first soccer player on either the women's or men's side to compete in 5 consecutive Olympics and score in each of those games. Marta accomplished the feat in Tokyo, scoring 2 goals during a 5-0 thrashing of China in Brazil's opening match. The Brazilians next play the Netherlands on Saturday. Marta's teammate, Formiga, is the only person to have played in all 6 previous women's tournaments at the Olympics. He is the first U.S. athlete to be ruled out of competing at the Olympics after testing positive for COVID-19. Since July 1, 87 coronavirus cases have been tied to the Games, with 52 confirmed among Japanese residents, according to the organizing committee. Crab, 29, wrote in an Instagram post that he is fully vaccinated and currently has no symptoms. "I've faced adversity before, and I will face it again, but it doesn't take the sting out of the situation," Crab wrote in the post. Crab said Tri Bourne will take his place on Team USA, teaming up with partner Jake Gibb. The duo's first match is scheduled for Sunday. When athletes test positive for COVID-19, it affects their whole team. It was a rough 36 hours for Simone Biles and the U.S. women's gymnastics team after learning alternate Kara Eker had tested positive, despite being fully vaccinated. Even now, Annie Heffernan, the vice president of USA Gymnastics women's program, said she's anxious until she gets the test results each day. "I don't go to sleep until I know," Heffernan said Thursday after the U.S. women finished podium training. "We're just continuing with the protocols. More vigilant than ever, making sure that we're staying to ourselves. It's very concerning. It's a nightmare scenario. It was terrible." Eker tested positive Monday following a training camp that included both the alternates and the 6-woman Olympic team. She remains in quarantine while Leanne Wang, who trains with her, is in isolation as a close contact. Both are healthy. Heffernan said USA Gymnastics had implemented strict protocols during the training camp so there would be a barrier between the alternates and the Olympic team. Alternates roomed with alternates, sat on the opposite side of the room during meals and did not train on the same events at the same time as the Olympians. Masks were to be worn at all times except when athletes were eating, actively training or in their individual rooms. These protocols seem to have worked, because Simone Biles and the rest of the team, Suni Lee, Jordan Chiles, Grace McCallum, Jade Carey and Michaela Skinner, have continued to test negative. But the experience has been difficult for the entire team, Heffernan said. We're devastated for Iker and Wong, of course. It's not anything we ever dreamed would happen or wanted to happen, she said. But these young ladies and the staff just keep pushing forward. They just keep moving forward, forward, forward. They don't look backward. You saw them, she added. They're doing a pretty good job. Naomi Osaka, who is arguably the biggest star for host country Japan at the Tokyo Olympics, will open her quest for a gold medal against China's Zheng Saisai and has a favorable draw until at least the quarter-finals, where she would potentially face 2020 French Open champion Iga Swiatek of Poland. Osaka is seeded number 2 in the women's singles tournament behind number 1 ranked Ashley Barty, who won the Wimbledon title earlier this month. Osaka, a 4-time Grand Slam winner, has not played a match since withdrawing from the French Open on May 31, citing mental health issues that became public when she said she would not fulfill her media obligations at the tournament. Serbia's Novak Djokovic, who won the first 3 men's majors this year, will open his tournament against number 139 ranked Hugo Dellien of Bolivia as he tries to win the so-called Golden Slam, something that has only been accomplished once, by Steffi Graf in 1988. Russia's Daniil Medvedev, who has been the best men's player on hard courts outside of Djokovic in the last couple years, is seeded number 2 and will face Alexander Bublik of Kazakhstan in the first round.